What's happening, homies? It's Prince of Games here with my first ever deck profile. This is Budget Dinos, budgetish, and I came 6th place at my second ever local, so I think I did pretty good. So let's jump right into it. Alright, starting off with the main deck, we got a 3 Soul Eating Oviraptor. Starts all your plays by adding, and then you could target, destroy, bring back any dino from your grave. Any dino, including Pegatops, main man UCT. Then we got the 3 Miscellaneousaurus. This is the reason Dinosaur is so good going second, because as long as you resolve this, your whole opponent's board doesn't matter. You could just flip it all face down, unaffected, for that main phase, and he gets you the extra search or special summon from the deck. Then we got 3 Babysaurus and 2 Petite Pteranodon. We got a lot of cards that we want to start off by destroying these guys, so that's why we need so many. And the main one that we need, that we destroy them with, is 1 Lithosogen and 2 True King Agnimazid. These guys let you destroy cards in your hand to summon themselves, and we have a bunch of fires so that this guy's always live. Then, for the bigger boys, we got the 1 Tyranno Infinity. Summon it off the Miscellaneousaurus. He can be anywhere from 4,000 to 10,000. Just punch your game. 2 Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. Found 2 is good. 3 can be good if you're going really budget, but we got enough stuff in here that come down to 2. 1 Dinosaur Pegatops. Super mandatory. He's so good to summon off Petite Pteranodon. And you could even, if you have Miscellaneousaurus, summon the Petite Pteranodon, get destroyed during the end phase, get the Pegatops. Really good for breaking boards going second. Same with Dogoran. Search them off your Oviraptor. Tribute anything crazy on the board. You can even tribute Dragoon, now that you just came out. And then here's the spice. 2 Nemesis Flag and 1 Arch Nemesis Protoss. So these guys, you can summon them by returning a banished monster to your deck, and then he lets you search any Nemesis card, which you're going to search the Protoss. And then Protoss says, cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned by banishing 3 monsters with different attributes from your graveyard and or face-up field. Cannot be destroyed by card effects. You can declare 1 monster attribute on the field, destroy all monsters on the field with that attribute. Also, until the end of the next turn, neither player can special summon monsters with that attribute. You can only use each effect once per turn. So basically, you get all your dinosaurs on board, link them off, send them to the graveyard, use them all in the graveyard for him. Or it's even better if you get them like in the middle of the game, you got no cards left, you draw them, you just pop them down, blow up your whole opponent's board, they can't special summon, you just win the game from there. Then, since we're mainly a going second version, we want 3 Ash Blossom. It's nice to have the fire attribute, and it just stops so many things. And it's good even after you've played some monsters. And then we have the 3 Psyframe Gamma and the 1 Driver. Gamma is just, it's really strong, and the reason that I like it over something like Effect Veiler is that you can use it during your turn. So when you start off summoning your field spell, using some of your spells, you can bait your opponent into using their hand traps early or their set back row or whatever, and then drop the Gamma. You got 2 monsters on board, and you baited out their trap, their hand trap. And then the 1 Infinite Impermanence, it's the only one I have, but probably the best hand trap in the game right now. And then this is the MVP of the deck, 2 Dark Hole. Crazy good going second. Most boards these days are just all monster negates. Sometimes it'll be like 1 or 2 spell trap negates. You can usually bait those out with some other cards, and then drop this, your opponent used up all the resources, you just win the game. Then you got 3 fossil dig. Add any dinosaur. Too good. Gigantic diagram. This plus baby. Boom pop. We got it. And another thing is, if you get all 3 of the true kings in hand, so you can use this to search for the 3rd one if you already have 2. Then what you can do is you can use Agnamazid, destroy these 2, then both of their effects will trigger. This one will summon him from the graveyard, and you just summon this guy, and then this one will add back to your hand. And there you have True King of all calamities without even needing the baby. And the other reason why we're running Dark Hole is because with Lost World, which is coming up right here, 3 Lost World, it's so good, you want to see it all the time. And it's really nice for starting your plays because summon the OV Raptor while you have Lost World, you OV1, Lost World 2, they can't ash it. And if you get that, plus Dark Hole, any dinosaur plus Dark Hole, you can summon it, use Dark Hole, blow up your opponent's board, send the dinosaur to the graveyard with Lost World, and then you get to summon any monster from your deck. It also works really good if you get a baby, then you can summon 2 monsters from your deck with Dark Hole. And then 1 Terraform, 1 set rotation, mainly because the Dragonic diagram's at 1, so you want to have the best chances to see it. And that's it for the main deck. So moving on to the extra deck, the main things that are the most important are the rank 4s. We got the 1 Dolko, the 1 Lagia. I know Dolko can be a bit expensive, so you can go 2 Lagia if you want, but he just really helps out the deck, especially if you summon him, you're safe from hand traps. So if you get him early, you can save yourself from Nibiru. Tornado Dragon. We sort of need this because dinosaurs don't have much back row destruction, so this is a really easy way to do that. Guards the Timeless. He comes in clutch all the time with his draw effect. It's like a free graceful charity, but you'll skip your next draw phase, but still, you drew 2 cards. You don't need that next draw phase. And then his other effect that you can double the attack of a monster. You double UCT, he's at 7,000. It's really easy to go for game after that because this guy's 1,000, 7,000, 8,000 damage right there. Fist Dweller, really good because it just shuts down some decks. And also sometimes you want to have that XZ on your field, but you want to have a dinosaur in grave too, like Miscellaneousaurus. So you can detach a material on your first turn using this guy. While most other ones you have to wait for your opponent to have something on the field to do something. So he's really good turn 1 play if you need your dinosaur in the graveyard. Light Dragon Adagnister, non-targeting destruction. And the other thought of having him in here is if you have your arch nemesis guy going turn 1 and you summon this guy, he says you have to declare an attribute that's on the field. So if your opponent's playing a light deck, you want to declare light, you can summon him, and then you declare light, and he can protect himself. So you just detach a material, he doesn't die, and your opponent can't special summon lights. Then we have Dark Rebellion XYZ Dragon. He was sort of an afterthought, but I thought if my opponent has any like super huge monsters that I can't beat over, and I can't get to Tyranno, just get to him, and we're good. True King of all calamities, super good. You need to run him if you're running the True Kings. And don't forget about his effect that you can tribute your opponent's monsters. So if you get your 2 True Kings on the field, you summon him. Next turn you still have Diagram on the field. Search for your Fire True King. Make all your opponent's monsters fire. Destroy your own opponent's monsters to summon them. Phantom Fortress Enter Blathner. This one's mainly if you end up going second and you got your rank 9. You go for him, non-targeting, banish anything, or you can banish from your opponent's hand, or you can banish from your opponent's graveyard. It's got a lot of different effects, but mainly the non-targeting banish is really good, especially against Dragoon. Then we got the 1 Gustav Max. You get 2 Tyrannos on the field. Easy burn, easy game. Reapodocus. You can change the attribute to use with your Protoss. You know, get whatever attribute your opponent's playing. But the main thing is that he's a dinosaur. So when you link off and you're just sending everything to the graveyard, you get him in the graveyard, you got an extra dinosaur in the graveyard. And also, if you're playing against Dogmatica, you can just send him to the graveyard. You just got a free dinosaur in the graveyard. Pet Stag gives you Tyranno Piercing, easy games. Nightmare Phoenix, more back row removal, but mainly just generic fire that you can summon. Nightmare Unicorn, good for linking up. And then Borlo Dragon to round it all off. Just has a really good rank 4 to get rid of problematic monsters. Alright, let's get to the side deck. We got 1 Twin Twister, 2 Cosmic, 1 Hatronade, 1 Red Reboot, all back row hate. These ones are mainly for the Eldritch. These ones are also for Eldritch, but mainly I just wanted to have a good coverage of all the different types that I might face. And Hatronade is like basically a Harpy's Feather Duster for dinosaurs, since you just gotta kill them in 1 turn anyway. Then we got 1 Dark Ruler No More and 1 Mystic Mine. This one's searchable with your Terraforming and Set rotation, and this is just a blowout, but I only have 1 copy. Then we got Gamma Seal, Winged Dragon of Raw Sphere Mode, Nibiru, as just the ways to just tribute over your opponent's crazy boards that they try to make. Then we got Lancey and Joel and Mockbird for those crazy combo decks. You get these early on and it can stop a lot of those combos. Then we got Ghost Ogre, DD Crow to get some specific decks, mainly for Numeron, and this is also good for against Invoked. You just banish the Alistair, so Invoked fizzles, and they got nothing. And then the 1 Mind Control can come in really clutch, especially if your opponent just has like 1 monster on the board, or when they're doing, like I said, all monster effect negation. You just use this. They don't have spell and trap negation. Suck up their monster. Now you have your own negate. So the last thing I want to go through is some extra spice you could add or budget options. So we got Abominable Untamed Soul. So if you want, you can throw him in. I used to have him in, but I really wanted to be super competitive with this version, so I took him out. But he says, if any card you control is destroyed, you have a lot of destruction effects, so it's easy to proc. Summon him. You can discard a card to destroy a card when he's summoned. And then if he's destroyed, you can summon him back during the end phase. Really good with all your destruction. Double Evolution Pill, it's a really good card to play, but I didn't play it in this version because I was focusing more on using those spells and traps, and it can often be a brick, so I don't have the Archsaur or the Coatlas yet to really make use of this, but if you have those, it'll help. Monster Reborn can be great, especially with this guy. Once you summon him, you can summon him back. Same with the UCT. You can Monster Reborn him once you've summoned him normally, and then you got one of the best boss monsters in the game right on the field. You can run it through 3rd True King Agnimazod if you're not running as much hand traps. You want to be more budget. You can also run Effect Veiler instead of the Gamma or the Ash. And then the Rescue Rabbits and the Megalo Smasher X. So I had this in my build before when I was going super budget, but I got some better cards, upgraded the deck. But before I was running these guys, and 3 Dark Hole, because all of these give you the normal monsters, and you get that with the Dark Hole in Lost World. You can summon up to 3 monsters from your deck while you still have 2 monsters on the field, so basically you get 5 monsters off of 3 cards. And then you just have crazy XE potential. Now here's some other builds you can run. If you run the going first build, then you'd want to run Called by the Grave to make sure your OV goes off. And you can run Smorg, Bird of Sovereignty with your Reaperdocus. And then you can change their type to Winged Beast, summon this guy, summon the Barrier statue at the end. And it's a crazy combo, but I don't have the Wind Barrier statue. It's really hard to get right now. And then some additional side options that you could do. I was actually really needing this Forbidden Chalice when I did my tournament, because I came up against a lot of boards that if I had some monster negation, it would be really easy. And there was a lot of Zexal, and this is like the best out to Zexal. One guy even put Zexal on board. I had the Gamma to negate it, but he had the Imperm. If I had Forbidden Chalice instead, he wouldn't be able to stop me. You can run more Twin Twisters if you think maybe they're not playing Eldritch, you know, it's fine to just destroy it. But I find the discard doesn't really help that much. You can run Beat Raptor. This just says no to Sky Striker. Any monster in the extra monster zone is negated. And then for other extra decks cards you can run, you run Gaga Cowboy. If you see your games are getting pretty long, you know. Evil Swarm Nightmare. Flips your opponent's monsters face down, so your Tyranno doesn't have to. And then I almost ran this, but I took it out last minute. The Cyber Dragon Nova and the Super Vehicle or Stealth Reunion. You could also use the Invoked card, but this is the best one that I had. When your opponent uses their Dogmatica card to send to the graveyard, send the Nova, send the Reaperdocus. You got a Dinosaur Grave, and you got this guy on the field. He can suck up your opponent's monster, and they usually do it turn 1 because you're always going second, so he won't be able to be destroyed that turn. Then these two, Silent Arc and Castel, they're just different forms of removal. This one attaches, this one flips them face down, or return the deck, but flipping them face down can be really good. I think I'd probably switch out the Dark Exceed Dragon for this guy in my next tournament. And then these two are just good generic cards. And the Underclock Taker can actually be really good because you can make any of your opponent monsters lose 3,500 attack with UCT, and basically no monster has more than that. And going forward, I just got these two cards from the tournament. So Giant Rex and Quatless, they're really good in the deck. So if you get them, add them in. You'll probably see it in my next build. And maybe you'll even see this guy, but we'll have to see what happens. Alright, thanks for watching. I've been Prince of Games. Peace.